Everything in the village changed the same night the tree called her name. In a quiet valley, far away from busy cities and noisy roads, there was a small African village called Umuala. The village was surrounded by thick forests, wide rivers, and tall hills that looked like sleeping giants. The people of Umuala were farmers, hunters, potters, and storytellers. They lived simple lives and respected the ways of their ancestors. At the center of the village stood a very old and massive tree. This tree was not like any other tree. Its trunk was so wide that 10 grown men holding hands could not fully wrap around it. Its roots spread out of the ground like the legs of an ancient creature, and its branches stretched so high that it seemed to touch the sky. The leaves were deep green during the day, but sometimes, at night, they shone like silver. The villagers called it Aduela, the sacred tree of the earth. No one remembered who planted it. The elders said the tree was older than the village itself. Even the oldest man in Umuala, Grandpa Corey, who was over 100 years old, had met the tree when it was already tall and strong. The elders warned everyone, especially the children, do not touch the sacred tree, do not climb it, do not cut its branches. Do not sleep under it at night. They said the tree was the home of the ancestors' spirits, protectors of the land, and guardians of the village. They believed the tree had power and wisdom beyond human understanding. Because of this, the sacred tree was both respected and feared. Children played far away from it. Young men walked around it carefully. Women avoided washing clothes near its roots. And every year, during the festival of the ancestors, the village priest poured palm wine at the base of the tree and offered yams and kola nuts to honor the spirits. For many years, nothing strange happened, until one year, everything began to change. There was a young girl in Umuala named Nkiru. She was about 16 years old, slim and tall, with gentle eyes the color of dark honey. Her skin was smooth like polished ebony, and her braided hair always shone in the sunlight. But what made Nkiru special was not her beauty, it was her heart and her curiosity. While other children feared the sacred tree, Nkiru felt drawn to it. When she passed by on her way to the river, she felt a cool breeze around it, even when the air was hot everywhere else. Sometimes, when the wind blew, it sounded like the tree was breathing or whispering. One afternoon, Nkiru was resting under the shade of a nearby mango tree, weaving a small basket from palm leaves, when she heard a soft voice carried by the wind. Nkiru, she looked around. Nobody was there. Again, she heard it, even clearer. Come closer, child of the earth. Her heart started beating fast, but she was not afraid. Instead, she stood up slowly and walked toward the sacred tree. With every step she took, the air felt cooler and calmer, like the world had gone silent just for her. She stood a few steps away from the huge trunk. Nkiru. The voice whispered again, but this time it came from inside the tree. Why, yes, she answered, her voice shaking slightly. I have watched you since you were a child, the voice said. You do not fear me like others. You respect the earth. You greet the morning sun. You listen to the wind. You honor your ancestors in your heart. Nkiru's eyes widened. Who are you? She asked. I am the voice of your land. I am the spirit of your ancestors. I am the guardian of this village. The girl slowly bent her knees and knelt in respect. What do you want from me? She whispered. A soft golden light began to glow from the base of the tree, gently lighting up her face. I am searching for a keeper, the spirit replied. Someone pure of heart, someone brave, someone loyal to the land. Someone who will protect this tree and guard the village from coming danger. Nkiru felt warmth cover her body like a mother's embrace. Will you be my chosen one? The voice asked quietly. Before she could answer, heavy footsteps approached. It was Obinna, the village hunter, and 2 other young men. They stopped when they saw Nkiru near the sacred tree. Are you mad? Obinna shouted. Do you want to die? No one is allowed to go that close. The glow suddenly faded, the voice disappeared. The forest became normal again. Nkiru slowly stood up, her heart still racing. I heard something, she said. You heard nothing but foolish imagination, one of the men said. This tree is dangerous, people soon gathered. Elders came with their walking sticks, women whispered in fear. They all looked at Nkiru as if she had committed a terrible crime. The Chief Obiako, stepped forward. You have broken a sacred law, he said. No one goes close to that tree without permission from the ancestors. There may be consequences. Nkiru bowed her head, but deep inside, she knew what she heard was real. That night, the winds howled around the village, the sacred tree glowed again. And in Nkiru's dreams, she saw visions of fire, shadows, and strangers approaching Umuala. She heard the same powerful voice once more. The danger is coming, and you are the only one who can protect your people. She suddenly woke up, breathing heavily. Outside, the ground trembled slightly. The sacred tree was calling again, and this time, the whole village would soon feel its power. The next morning, the village of Umuala did not wake up to the normal sound of birds singing and women pounding yam. Instead, there was an uneasy silence in the air. The sky was gray, even though it was not the season of rain. A strange wind moved slowly through the village, bending the grass as if something invisible was passing by. People stepped out of their mud houses and looked around in fear. Did you feel it? One woman asked her neighbor. Yes, another answered. The ground shook a little in the night. Children held their mothers' wrappers tightly. Dogs whined and hid under wooden stools. Even the goats huddled together quietly. All eyes slowly turned toward the sacred tree in the middle of the village. It stood still and tall, but something about it looked different. Its bark seemed darker, and the roots had pushed up even more from the ground, like huge fingers trying to grip the earth. A faint golden light still glowed around its base, even though the sun was already high in the sky. Whispers began to spread. The girl has angered the spirits, one old woman muttered. Yes, a man replied. Ever since Nkiru went close to it, strange things have started. Some villagers glanced at Nkiru's small hut with suspicious eyes. Inside that hut, Nkiru sat on the floor, her knees pulled close to her chest. She had not slept well. The voice of the tree echoed in her mind, and the vision she saw in her dream fire, shadows, and strangers would not leave her thoughts. Her mother, Mama Nkiru, sat beside her, gently stroking her hair. My child, she said softly, what truly happened yesterday at the tree? Mama Nkiru had raised her daughter alone since her husband died when Nkiru was small. She knew Nkiru was an honest child. She believed in her heart that her daughter would never do something foolish without reason. Nkiru hesitated for a moment, then spoke in a low voice. It spoke to me, Mama. Mama Nkiru froze. What did you say? The tree, it spoke. A voice came from inside it. It said it is the guardian of this land. It said danger is coming. It said it is looking for a keeper. And it chose me. Silence filled the little hut. Mama Nkiru slowly stood up. This is not something to joke about, my child, she whispered. I am not joking, Mama, Nkiru replied. It is real. Just then, loud voices could be heard outside. Footsteps, many footsteps, approached the hut. Chief Obiako had gathered the elders, the priest, and some villagers. They stood outside the door. Mama Nkiru, bring your daughter out, the chief commanded. With a heavy heart, Mama Nkiru led Nkiru outside. The villagers circled her like she was no longer one of them. Nkiru, the chief said, you went against our laws and stood near the sacred tree. Overnight, the ground trembled and the animals are afraid. What do you have to say for yourself? Nkiru lifted her head and looked around the crowd. I did not go there to bring trouble, she said softly. The tree called me. It said danger is coming to this village. The people gasped. What danger? One man yelled. Who are you to speak for the spirits? Another shouted. The priest of the village, Nkiru, stepped forward. He was an old man with white chalk on his face and cowrie shells around his neck. "Young girl," he said, "if the spirits truly spoke to you, then let them show a sign." Now, at that very moment, a strong wind blew through the village, knocking over calabashes and lifting dust into the air. The sacred tree began to shake, not because of the wind, but as if it was moving by itself. Then, slowly, a deep sound echoed from it. Boom, boom, boom. It sounded like a heartbeat. The ground around the tree began to glow bright gold. Strange markings appeared on the trunk symbols no one could read. The people screamed, "Spirit power! The ancestors are awake!" Out of fear, everyone dropped to the ground. Everyone except Nkiru. She felt a calmness come over her body, like an invisible hand was holding her gently. The tree's voice returned, loud enough for some to hear, but clear only to her. "Child of the earth, do not fear. I have chosen well. You will be the keeper of the sacred tree." Light grew brighter around Nkiru's feet, forming a circle. It did not burn her. It felt warm and peaceful. The chief trembled. "What is happening?" He whispered to the priest. Before the priest could answer, the light suddenly disappeared. The wind stopped. The tree became still again. The village fell silent. Slowly, people rose from the ground and stared at Nkiru, completely changed. No longer with anger, but now with fear and awe. "She is chosen," someone whispered. "The tree has chosen its keeper," another replied, but not everyone was happy. At the back of the crowd stood a young man named Chuma, the chief's nephew. His eyes were filled with jealousy and darkness. "That should have been me," he muttered under his breath. Power like that should belong to a man, not a village girl. While the others bowed in respect, Chuma clenched his fists. That same day, 3 strangers were seen at the far edge of the forest, tall figures dressed in dark clothes, watching the village silently. The same figures Nkiru saw in her dream. The danger had begun to move closer. And the sacred tree had chosen its protector. But challenges, jealousy, and a dark force were now on their way.